Hey, what's up everybody? Joe Stroud here, intentional dating coach, and today I'm going to talk about the timelines of dating. I'm out here in Koh Phangan, Thailand, and this is just an incredible view from my Airbnb. Got the ocean right there. I was actually thinking about making a video also on dating as a digital nomad. So let me know if you want to see a video on that, and I can make one because it's kind of a different dynamic, and there's a lot of things you need to know. But today I'm going to talk about male and female timelines in life and what that means for dating. So, first of all, I will just talk about men. I want to always try to, if I'm talking about men or women, I want to always start with men first, and just because I'm a man, and then I'll share some of the things I've noticed and learned about women. But I'll start with this. A man's life starts at 30, really. And a woman's life starts at about 18, or you could even say 20, right? Now, why is that? I'm going to let that sit for just a second for any of you watching and listening, but men have to go through rites of passage and initiation typically with other men, earn their stripes. So back when we lived in more villages and communities and things like that, back when we were hunter-gatherers, kind of when humans first began, men had to learn to hunt with the village, with the tribe, and or even go off to war and be able to fight and protect this village or this community from that community who we don't like or they don't like us, whatever reason. That's kind of how this stuff sort of started, and we got to make sure you can sneak up on the enemy and not not be too loud or control your breathing and all kinds of little things like that, initiations, to prove that you're a man, to show that you're strong, that you can do it. Or it could look like, hey, here's a spear, go out into the woods, don't come back without food, or you're not welcome back into the tribe. It's sink or swim. Or maybe if you come back and you haven't produced something, like, we'll kill you. That's more extreme, but men go off to war. Men are the disposable sex. If you look at suicides and, the number of men who are, in jail versus women, it doesn't even compare, right? Men have always been the structure of society and also the workforce, the working by the blood, sweat, and tears, like the hardest, rigorous, dangerous, all of that stuff, to free up the women to be able to do their part and, of leading the love and empathy side of things, the intuitive aspect of the village and the community, and of course their number one role in society and in humanity and in the universe is to reproduce, to carry on the bloodline, right? And I think that's being forgotten because there's all these messages for women that say, hey, don't have kids, have a career. Or the lie that they can have both. They cannot fucking have both. Not really. Not if you're, I'll save that for here in a little bit. But essentially, a man isn't even really getting to the main part of his life until he's in his 30s in terms of financial standing, getting to a good financial place to be able to provide and be not just, responsible for another woman who might have his babies, but also emotional maturity. He's not really getting to an emotionally mature point until late 20s, early 30s. Not really. Men are significantly more emotionally immature in teenage years or even early 20s than women. And every woman listening to this or watching this knows this. So anyway, long story short, men don't even really hit their dating market value peak. You could call this sexual market value of what makes a man attractive. Whether you're wanting love and commitment and partnership or you're wanting sex, it doesn't matter. The factors that attract somebody are the same. Now there are factors that are just what a woman looks at of, wow, I want to fuck him. And then there's factors that are going to make her more attracted to, oh, he's a dependable dad. He could provide, and he's gonna, do, yeah. So it's kind of the alpha beta thing. And women can usually not really find those characteristics in the same guy. They want to, and they believe they can, but it usually doesn't happen. Okay, now I'll touch on women. So first, a man is gonna really hit that peak at like age 36, 37, 38. You could even say 40. And now that same peak timing when, let's say a woman is at her peak level of attractiveness, of given timelines and everything. So, by the way, this entire video is under the assumption that you are a heterosexual person, male or female, who wants a long-term relationship, long-term partnership, and kids to reproduce. This is the assumption. So, a woman's peak years of her attractiveness and fertility and all kinds of things, where she's the most attractive, where everyone in society values and is attracted to her, is when she's in her early 20s. So let's just say, I don't want to say 18, but like let's say 20 to like 25, or 21 to 24-ish. That's a time when she is now getting attention from not just guys her age, maybe even guys younger than her, but the entire ocean of men who are older than her. So men just a few years older, like maybe in their late 20s, guys in their 30s, and even a few guys in their 40s. That's where things get a little bit more interesting. But fundamentally, I think, a 3 to 4 year gap, or even a 10-year, maybe 12 or something like that year gap, is ideal, for lots of reasons, for polarity. But now, is that to say there are not absolute smoke shows of women at 28, 30, 32, or even, 45? Sure. It's definitely not the same as when they were 24. But this is beyond just physical attractiveness. However, men value physical attractiveness a little bit more than women do. This is one of the fundamental things, because men are more attracted to what they see, women are more attracted to what they hear. So if they hear certain things from a man of like, I'm gonna build a company, I wanna be a millionaire, I wanna travel the world, that all sounds really good, and like things that make her feel safe and secure, and like she's gonna have an adventurous life that she can tell all her friends about, whatever. She's joining that path, she's joining that ride. So it's like, what are his plans? Where's he going? What's his purpose? Who is he? Okay? A man is really looking for a woman who cannot just carry his babies on a physical level, but she fits a genetic profile of what he wants to carry on, because if he has attractive babies, that baby is then going to then have reproductive success, so that's where the attractiveness piece comes in. But yeah, this is just one of the, there are other things. Yeah, she's got to be a good mother. She can't be going to the clubs all the time, which, this brings up a whole nother thing. So once feminism came in and said, hey, you don't need no man, you can do it all yourself, you can, have these careers, and that's fine. I'll always say, if a woman or any human being wants to, should have the freedom of opportunity to go do whatever they want, and if that's what makes them feel the happiest while making maybe certain sacrifices, that's fine. Go for it. Go be the boss babe. But I think there's 2 or 3 fundamental factors that have really changed modern dating and polarity, and that is, let's just start with careers. After World War II, you had the feminist movement kind of in the 60s, and it's like, well, a woman can basically do anything a man can. Sure. But would you get in the ring with a man in a boxing match? No. Why do we have different men and women's sports? Obvious reasons, right? To say that men and women are the same is total nonsense. Women have 50 times better intuitive and empathetic ability, and men are just a little bit more better on the logical and rational, and you could even say decision making and even certain leadership qualities. Can women be great leaders? Absolutely. I think the ones you see in the corporate world are very masculine, and not really happy at home. But on the career path, this is where feminism really lied to women, is that you can have the career and you can have the family too. And I've even talked to women about this. Recently, I was in Brazil. I was at a full moon gathering with an ecstatic dance, and I talked to some British women who they realized that, like, yeah, that part of feminism was a total lie. Another reason feminism came along is to create more taxable adults. If the man is just making all the money and she's at home watching the kids, well, that's another able-bodied adult that we're not taxing. So get women to the workplace, boom, now we can tax her. Or the other thing is, to break up the family unit, to divide all of, the masses in the matrix and make us more controllable. It's a whole nother tactic the Romans have been using when they conquer a new country, of divide and conquer, right? You also see that with identity politics in the woke movements of certain alphabet mafias that exist in the United States. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And it's beyond just that, even food choices like veganism or keto or carnivore, whatever. But that's a whole different kind of conversation. But yeah, so you got the career thing. And a lot of the women now, they did the best they could with what they thought the right path was, with what their parents pushed. So their parents kind of came into this new world where, okay, women are going to be going to the workplace or going to college, and that's fine. That's why this is a tough thing to talk about. It's like, this is a different world now. So I think we need a balance of coming back to more traditional values of what is a man and a woman's role in society as nature designed it, and how we evolved to do it, and where our best strengths are. Because if we're going down that path of our roles in society, then we'll have better roles in relationship and learn how to relate and connect better. We connect better when we are honoring our energetic differences, our energetic poles, the masculine and feminine. We all have both, but if a man wants to be very powerful and charged and activated at his fullest ability in a relationship, he needs to be more on this masculine pole. Same for a woman in her feminine. So it's going to be interesting to see how long this, corporate type of matrix reality and the college and university thing, which is a big bubble that's going to pop at some point, of course. But it's going to be interesting to see how long this careerism being valued over everything else. Because it's like, every parent's like, oh, well, I need to feel like, I did my job as like I didn't fail as a parent if my kid got through school and then got through college and got a good job and then got married, right? But yeah, then if you look at a lot of households, this might even have been a little bit of a case in mind, but a lot of the times the mother is kind of running the house and sort of running the family, and the dad or the father takes just slightly a little bit more of a passive role. Why? Because sports. Or why? Because he worked all day and now he's going to get in front of the TV or whatever. But that's besides the point. So there's the career part of women just pursuing that, and so it gets them more in their masculine, or that's a priority instead of just finding a mate. Because they could find a mate in their early, mid-20s and then chase a career, once they've found and they've developed that partnership and relationship and that connection. Of course, a lot of women are probably going to hate that, because then that puts them in a box of like, oh, you have a limited life but this is just the reality. Women have basically a decade to meet men. Maybe you could say 15 years, cool. If they want to reproduce, You don't want to reproduce? Fine, go be a CEO till you're 40. Then find a guy, cool. But the next big bullet point is sort of hyper-independence, which I already made a video about that. And in conjunction with that is going out. party life and all of that. And so of course everyone, or a lot of people in the US wants to have their party years and their fun years before they settle down, right? So men have basically their whole life. You can make a baby when you're 70. It would be weird, but it happens, you know? Or even having a baby at 50 as a man is still kind of stretching it, but it's honestly like totally normal. But a woman does not have that much time. So, again, take this with a grain of salt, but like, yeah, if she's out prioritizing girls' night and not being available when a man approaches her, or it's always someone's birthday, you know, every other week, every weekend when a guy hits you up or wants to go on a date with you, fine, keep pushing them off, because in the name of independence and, you know, hot girl summer and girls' night and whatever, it's fine. But how much time you got? You know, there's a lot of women who get close to 28, 29, start to have that epiphany. 30, it really hits them. And I've seen women's behavior changes drastically between 30 and like 33, 34. Both in their certain behaviors and activities. They kind of realize, oh, time's running out, better have all the fun I can while I can. 2, if they're more focused on the relationship, it's like, let me lock one down as fast as possible. And let me tell you how that doesn't work, or it's not really working out to their favor. I've seen this in my own family. I've seen this in previous roommates of mine. I've seen this in girls I dated and have been in relationships with. But, you know, so let's just say a woman will go out and be career focused. Maybe she's in a relationship or 2 throughout her 20s. And she gets to 30, and then she wants to lock a man down because it's time, right? The party's over, the lights came on. All right, who's left? Who's ready to settle down, right? So let's just say they're 30 or like 32. And because if she still wants to have kids, okay, that still leaves maybe if she found someone, you know, and then let's say you married them after 2 years. And now you're 32 and you've had, you know, let's say it all works out perfectly. Now you've got like a few years to have kids, basically. And enjoy a few years with your partner with no kids first. I think this is actually kind of a goal of mine, is to find your partner, obviously, create the foundation of the relationship first, and then have a few years by yourself with no kids while you're still young before all that starts, especially if you want to have more than one kid. So a man at the same age, when women are trying to lock them down, you hear this a lot. Oh, he should grow up, or he should, you know, man up and commit. A lot of the complaints you hear from women are from women in their early 30s. They're frustrated with men who won't grow up. Why? They're still dating around or sleeping around or just enjoying singleness or being in the dating pool or just enjoying their independence. Just like women have been doing for basically their whole 20s. So a man has actually been developing himself his entire 20s. This isn't to say a woman can't develop herself for her 20s too. But the masculine experience is different from a feminine experience in life. Let's just go ahead and quickly talk about the female initiation. What happens when a woman turns like 14, 15? She gets her monthly cycle, her period, okay? That's her initiation. That's nature's initiation. As it relates to nature as well, men's value is predicated on, or is based on, how well he performs. You could take that a lot of different ways. How he performs in the bedroom, because he's kind of more of the engine, the workhorse in the bedroom. But he's got to go, you know, he's got to provide and protect and go expand and I don't want to say conquer, but yeah, on some level conquer and go inspire and whatever, go out into the world and create and produce. okay, to have resources. And it takes a lot of growing up and maturity to do that. So he's, honestly, when I was in my early 20s, I felt so like picked over. And I know a lot of you guys, if you're in your early 20s, right now you just graduated college, you're getting picked over. So college was some of the best years. You know, maybe, you know, if you're in a fraternity especially, you got more selection than you've ever had in your life. Then you get out into the real world. Now all those girls now have access to all these men that are all of the above in age. And so not just age, status, experience, intelligence, resources, social network, the list goes on and on. And when a man is like established in life, that woman is going to go for that guy every single time. This is hypergamy. This is, women are attracted to these kinds of men and they don't know why. So men in their early 30s just kind of really need to buckle down and get focused on career, whereas women are the most sexually attractive they'll ever be in their life. It's not the case for a man, a 22-year-old guy, 23-year-old guy. Why? Because being right out of college and broke is not hot. Being 38 and well into your career and established with good friends and network and gatherings and things to be invited to and trips, that's hot for a woman. And so this is just to, again, bring it back to timelines of dating. Men have a lot more time, but it's a slower start for men. It takes a lot. It's kind of like you got to pay your dues as a man. Develop yourself, develop your skills and your finances first, and your direction and your purpose. What's your purpose in life? How you know, what's your impact going to be? What are people going to remember you for after you're dead? And for women, yeah, women can go do all that stuff too and change the world too. But as it relates to relationships, I'd say they're better off prioritizing finding a mate earlier, because then let's say, you know, she meets a guy at, let's just go ahead and say 25. So you got those years to do what you want, and you meet a guy. Let's say you date him for 2 years, you marry him at 27. Then you've still got an 8-year window to do what you want as a couple and enjoy married life with no kids, or just long-term partner life with no kids. Because, yeah, that's another thing a guy is looking for. So this is just a call back to polarity. Our world and culture is changing, so relationships are changing. And so, yeah, I think for a woman to truly be in her feminine, we gotta teach them early, or spread awareness about this early. And yeah, and it's crazy because that shifting point in timelines happens in late 20s, early 30s. So a man is just now, this happened for me. I lived it. Around when I turned like 27, 28, things are starting to be a little bit different for me. Suddenly I was getting even more attention than before, and it just gets more as I get older. I think the reverse happens for women. And it's, you know, this isn't like, oh, let's rag on women, you know, but this is just painting the picture. This is outlining the reality of it. So, I can make a whole nother video about polarity, but I've already touched on it, so I'll probably bring this video to a close here. But, you know, as far as history and evolution is concerned, I mean, if you go back to kings and queens and like whatever, tribe members, and you're gonna marry off your daughter to that guy in the next tribe or the next kingdom, well, it's like someone relatively younger, fertile, ready to go, you know, healthy, all that, and then the other man is significantly older, established, a king, you know, or king to be. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, that's the main thing a woman can do. The main thing, her role in society, literally. This isn't even about like, you know, men versus women, or oppression, or feminism, or the patriarchy. It's like there are male and female plants. All these trees, there are male and female versions of those. There are male and female birds, and all that stuff. They all have a job to do. They all have a role. So, what is a woman's #1 role in nature? Whether you're a human or you're a dog or a cat or whatever. Reproduce and be the loving and nurturing, empathetic aspect of, of human beings to fill that role. So that's for the women. And then for the men, you got to be strong so that women, you got to create safety so that women can feel safe to have a child. If the, the nature has a way of not bringing a child into the world if the conditions are unsafe. Or, I want to say I heard something around like in World War II, there, like all the fetuses in Europe or babies have this syndrome of when certain things happened, like they have a traumatic, and they were in the fetus during a certain trimester during when they were being bombed. And so it's like, oh, different, levels of safety there. But anyway, yeah, I hope that helps. So men, bottom line of message of this video is, develop yourself especially if you're in your 20s, even if you're 30, you got so much time, and I hope you are realizing your value and seeing the ripples that you're creating now that you're an established, strong man. And if you're like 23, hang in there. That's gonna be one of those confusing, shitty times of your life. I hate to say it, but it just is, and everything's gonna get better. It doesn't get easier, but it does get better. And you get more experience, and you get wiser. So I hope this helps. For those of you guys who are interested in meeting women in real life, you're tired of the dating apps, and you want something different, and you're tired of getting ghosted. I'm talking about techie, nerdier guys, software engineers, but also just any guy. Those are just some of the main guys I've worked with so far. Come to my webinar. It's going to be here in a few weeks, and if you comment below, I'll send you the details or send me a message. You can also send me a message on Instagram @_TheJoeShow_. So signing off from Thailand. I'm really excited to be making more videos now, and yeah, let me know what you want to hear more about.